I feel so bad for Damien. I was like, Damien, oh man, all the people are leaving because it's early morning and they're going across town. Is pretty much what I'm hearing with people. So I'm sorry that you're getting the smaller crowd, but I'm assuming this is the hardcore, really great character. So I asked Damien to come. Again, this is our first night meeting, so just to be transparent about that. I asked you to come and talk about race, which is always, again, politics, all kinds of things that we're talking about tonight. But I wanted to really look through this lens of, being your brother's keeper. I know that you've spent a long time in the inner city of Atlanta,
yes,
working and pastoring. So tell me why you think this is exceptionally important right now for us to wrestle with.
Well, the concept is, the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Which is the concept of putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Right.
Seeing yourself through their lens. And that's something that we're uncomfortable. We don't want to go across the dangerous divide.
That's right.
To identify. We'd rather get in the fight and share our opinion rather than sit where you sit, right, and understand how you think and feel. Because then I have to feel your pain and identify with you in your pain.
That's right.
And that is an uncomfortable thing in a culture that tells you just be happy.
Yeah. And you picked 1917, so it's immediately, and it's predicted to win tonight. So I feel like it for me, more than any movie I felt, was the best picture of this thematic in my mind. And because it was dealing with World War I, right? Why this year did we choose to look at World War I versus World War II? Well, could it be because World War I is all about trenches, and a whole lot of people staying in a whole lot of trenches for a very long time? And then we get to watch these two soldiers who have to deliver this message out of the trench and kind of take a step of faith into no man's land. And they see the casualties of war like, they've never seen before. And they're there to go to deliver a message to stop a battle and to ultimately save a brother who's in harm's way, as well as their brothers in arms. When you saw the movie and relating it through your lens, and specifically your experience, how did you process the movie and how did it sound to you from that standpoint?
To me, the problem is, when I saw it through the lens of race, this construct that we came up with, like America came up with the concept of race.
Right.
It didn't exist before then. Class, culture did, but race, white versus black, that literally came into being to keep poor white people and black people apart during the antebellum period. Everybody wants to have somebody that's below them. But the idea of having to fight through a hard thing to save people is a concept that nobody in our current larger culture wants to embrace. We'd rather be right, we'd rather stay where we are, we'd rather be safe than go through the pain, struggle, and potential personal injury it will take to help somebody else out.
Right.
It's all about comfort and convenience rather than sacrifice and real love.
It's good. And so when you look at me hearing your heart right now, it sounds like I'm just projecting.
Go ahead.
I'm projecting that you have spent a lot of time with a lot of sacrifice, personal sweat and tears in communities that are very, very difficult, that a lot of people like me who live in nice suburban, East Cobb, don't deal with the sweat equity of having to cross into no man's land, dealing with seeing the landscape of bodies and literal and figurative, and the war, casualties of war that are going on. And so when you watch this film, you're sitting there going, I'm identifying with how hard it took this guy to get from point A to point Z. 8
years serving the least of these in Atlanta. Add to that, I've been homeless several times. I come from the poorest of the poor in New Jersey. Then add to that, I am a minority in this country. Add to that, I have a son who has severe disabilities. So I spend my life crossing barriers, helping people understand where other people come from. And it breaks my heart because there's a callousness. We want others to come to us and endure the hardship to come to us. But we don't want to take the pain of going through the hardship to get to somebody else, to seeing that, to helping someone, to saving someone else we'd rather save ourselves than go through the trauma of saving someone else. And when I think about that, I get real mad at, I'm a pastor, so I get real mad at the church people, because isn't that the cross? Isn't that what Jesus died for? He came to save us, laid his life down, went through pain and struggle so that we could have real life. But then people who say they represent him refuse to do that. And that's somehow weird, because I don't understand you, I don't get you. And somebody has to go into the no man's land, the dead zone, to see what can be done to rescue others who don't have the safety that I'm currently enjoying.
And you know, that movie shows that when you go in no man's land, all of a sudden there's a guy who you're seeing in the shadows, and all of a sudden he just comes to start running at you with a gun, shooting at you, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have a plane that's flying at you and landing, and then you're trying to help this German soldier out of the plane, and he ends up stabbing. You know, I mean, I imagine that that is part of the cost. Right?
That is, somebody has to go where nobody wants to go.
Right.
And somebody has to risk their lives, and I've been doing that for years, so I fully get that. Doing what nobody wants to do. If you're wondering where we are, we reach Weston English Avenue in Vine City. If you don't know where that is, go to the stadium and park in the parking because you don't want to park on the street. Yeah, that's us. But nobody wants to do that. No, it's weird. We're reading so many books telling us that we need to be our best and everything's wonderful. And if God is with you, everything's great. But in the Bible, the most powerful people went through more foolishness, more hardship, more difficulty than anybody else. And it was all for the glory of God and the betterment of others. And yet we're in a culture that says that's wrong to go through and endure so that someone else may have an opportunity that they don't currently. And I think this movie shines a light on our culture. Maybe we can be just a little better than that.
Yeah. Is there anything about stopping the fight that resonated with you? Like the fact that they weren't going to battle, they were going to stop a fight. I know what I hear your heart is just the sacrifice.
It's the rescue. It's because you're rescuing a brother, but you're going to go rescue other people.
Got it.
The idea of I'm going to risk my life to rescue you. We love hero stories, don't we?
Right.
They're the ones that inspire us. It's the hero, but nobody wants to be the hero.
Right.
And when you see the hurting person, can you be the hero? Don't wait for someone else to be the hero.
Yeah.
You be the hero. You go risk your life, your livelihood, your energy, your money to be a hero for somebody that needs a hero. And if you don't come, they don't get rescued. Who wants to be that person? Because we need heroes in our culture.
I can't say anything. That's a good way to land it. Scene. The last question I ask you is just, is there anything that you would want me to ask you that maybe I didn't ask? You know, like anything that is really on your heart tonight that you feel like, because what I hear, I really hear your heart, and I really feel like you're talking about, hey, if you're talking about devotion tested, let's not just like devotion, let's go over here and make a pie chart as to where our devotions are.
Passion, you're right, the passion is to the degree you're willing to go to accomplish a goal. We say we love people, but we don't want to go to any painful degree to rescue them, to help them. We're more concerned with our own comfort and convenience, and I mean as a society.
Right.
We're more, coronavirus is happening.
Right.
Oh, woo, coronavirus is happening, glad I'm over here. But who's going, somebody needs to save people who are dying. These are actual human beings made in the image of God, and they need rescue. Who's willing to go? Well, I might catch a guess, you could risk your life. But somebody else's life is worth it. People are worth it.
And thank you for bringing that specific lens tonight. We needed to hear that, especially in relationship to what we were talking about. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so the big awards are fixing to happen, so we're not going to interrupt the program anymore because those are coming. There is one thing that we want to do as far as if you did fill out your top 10, I've got a question that I'm going to put up on the screen for you to look at inside your movies and see what is one of your movies. And I'll try to find a commercial break to do that that's appropriate. Thank you guys.